Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Off the Dirt with Allie and Joe, presented by M&M Septic Services. This is a production of the American All-Star Series. This is episode 14, titled Lake Cumberland Speedway. Considering we're racing this weekend at Lake Cumberland, but I'm Allie, and I'm joined tonight with the CEO as well as my co-host of the American All-Star Series, or the CEO of the American All-Star Series, and my co-host of Off the Dirt, Joe Rush. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good, Allie. It's good to be here. It's another race week. I can't wait. We had a phenomenal opening weekend, and from what I hear about Lake Cumberland, I don't think we're going to be disappointed with our first trip to the track.
I don't think so either, and a lot of our guys have requested it, so I think it's going to be a fun weekend. I think we're going to have a lot of good racers in the house and a lot of good racing on Saturday night. But don't forget that we're streaming live right now on our Facebook accounts, our Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube, my personal Facebook as well as Joseph's, and don't forget to check out our website, crateracing.com.
That's right. So, all those keep updated. Rules are on the website. Some people have been asking, especially those from Lake Cumberland, have been asking about the rules and things for our specific series. So you can check those out, crateracing.com. Grab those there. Terry Basham, good to have you with us tonight. And yep, the beard's gone. It'll be back in 2 weeks, though, Ricky. Don't worry.
I noticed that when you first got on. I was like, oh, my God, Joe shaved the beard. He's not a caveman anymore.
Yeah, it'll be back quickly.
Yeah, but don't forget to get your Off the Dirt merch from Landstone Designs. We have T-shirts. We have hats. You can get anything embroidered. And if you want a blanket with Off the Dirt on it, they can make that too.
That's right. He can do one with the American All-Star Series logo on it as well. So for basically anything you want embroidered, he can take your logo. If you've got your own business, he can take your logo and embroider it.
Landstone Designs. Pretty cool. But we'd like to welcome back Firefly Token for Segment 1. Firefly is a unique high-burn token that rewards long-term holders with a team of dedicated developers and engaged community. It's also a token you can feel good about investing in. Each transfer or sale incurs a 15% burn rate, 5% of which goes directly to charitable causes. For us at Firefly, the primary cause we support is the conservation of fireflies. The global population is approaching extinction, and with your support, we hope to reverse that trend. Joe, how is the token doing?
Token's doing great. Definitely time to get in. If you haven't already, it's with the burn and things, it's constantly going up. So get involved. SaveTheFirefly.com. Check us out online there, and invest now while it's still in the basement level of a new token.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely cheaper than it's going to be. Me and Joe are both invested in this, but it's certainly going to be on the up here very, very soon.
Absolutely. Can't wait to watch it grow.
Mm-hmm. And something that's also going to be growing is Racetrack Connection, the new social media app for racers and fans. So all of racing. It's out for drivers and fans on Apple Store. Is the fan one out for Android?
Yep, that came out last week. I was waiting to announce live tonight, and then we'll get a post made as well. So we got our guest host back here hanging out tonight. But yes, Racetrack Connection is out on Android, Google Play Store now, as well as on the Apple Store for both fans and drivers. So check it out, and we'll get everybody signed up this weekend at the track.
Yes, it's certainly going to be awesome for fans, especially getting to know you guys, and then drivers for your opportunities to gain fans and possibly gain some sponsors and some new buyers of your side business.
That's right. So, without further ado, how about we welcome in our first guest? I'm really excited about our guest tonight.
Yep. So here is our first guest for Segment 1, Brian from Lake Cumberland Speedway.
Hey, guys. How are you all?
Good, Brian. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. I do apologize. I had no idea this was going to be video. So I'm just sitting here. My wife is at a Bible study right now, and she took off and left the house. She made supper for me, so it's all sitting around, so I figured I'd just get a blank wall behind me real quick. So.
Well, I apologize for not letting you in on that,
no
part this week.
All. Not that it would make much of a difference, but yeah, that's fine.
Absolutely. Well, we're glad to have you with us tonight, and really excited about this first time that we get to come to Lake Cumberland Speedway. It's a brand new track for us, so we're really, really excited about this.
Hey, we're excited to have you guys down. I am the media director, and I guess you would say the announcer at the racetrack. I'm the guy that screams in the microphone most of the time. We have two different racetracks, Ponderosa Speedway in Junction City, Kentucky, which is a once-a-month track. We race on Friday night. And then at Lake Cumberland Speedway, we race every Saturday night from April through October, and sometimes into November, depending on the weather. So have a great time down there, man. We're really looking forward to having you guys down with us. New dirt has been put on the track. We had a practice yesterday. Had over 75 cars at practice. We expected about 35 to 40. Had 78 teams show up. So we want to thank all those guys for showing up. Yesterday afternoon, had over 30 open wheel modifieds. We had some of the guys that are going to be following your series, the American All-Star Series, there with us yesterday. And they had the heavy equipment in there again already today, working the track and getting it ready. We are so excited for the season to start Saturday.
We're excited too. I know Kobe Gallen came down. He's one of our weekly competitors,
Yes.
came all the way from Grayson to practice with you guys to get some track time for this weekend. So you told us your role for the folks coming in to LCS, like Allie and I, we've never been to Lake Cumberland. This will be our first trip in. Give us an overview of the place, kind of what it's like. What can we expect? I was looking at the overhead on Google Maps, trying to figure out everything from the overhead view, but, kind of give us an overview of the place and what we can expect to see on Saturday night.
Yeah, Lake Cumberland Speedway, this is our 40th year of racing. The track started racing in 1982. It was a dune buggy track for about 2 years before the round track came into existence. But 1982 was the first time they ran. So this is our 40th season. It is a 3/8 mile D-shaped semi-banked track, red clay. We've just added almost 100 loads of red clay dirt to the racetrack. It gets very, very fast. And as the night goes on, that dirt will turn black, and it'll get 2 grooves at Lake Cumberland Speedway.
Did you lose him too,
With
Jeff?
the bleachers. So anywhere you said, I think we lost each other for a minute.
We did. Yeah, we're back now.
Okay, I just kept talking. I'm used to my wife tells me all the time, shut up, but I just kept talking. So, but we are a 3/8 mile D-shaped oval, D-shaped semi-banked racetrack. They did a little bit of cutting to the track this year. We've widened it by about 20 feet on the front stretch and back stretch. You're going to have a lot of fun. It's affectionately called the Hardgrove House of Hardcore Mayhem. I tried to remember that again, but that's what everybody calls it. This place gets wild. It gets crazy. 2 groove, sometimes 3 groove racing there at Lake Cumberland Speedway, especially when it gets black top to bottom. And you're going to see some great racing action all night long.
Awesome.
Man, I can't wait. We're going to have a good mix. We're going to have guys from Indiana, from the Carolinas, a good mix of touring guys that mix in there with your local competitors. I know you guys have a strong field of local cars already, so I can't wait to see everybody mix in together and compete together.
Yeah, the crate class here, we call it the pro late models, but the crate late model class here at Lake Cumberland Speedway and Ponderosa Speedway has grown so big over the last 2 years. But we are expecting to have anywhere between, I'm going to say 30 to 35 cars on an average Saturday night. And that's unheard of now in racing days with the way everything's going. But we have a lot of guys who have moved up. One of the guys you're going to hear from is our defending track champion, Shane Irvin. He's out of Liberty, Kentucky. This man has driven anything from old Bombers to Pintos to Mustangs, the four-cylinder class, moving up, and finally moved into the crate late model class. You're going to see him there on Saturday, who is very good. You're going to see a lot of other really, really good drivers. Some of the guys, I think you guys are even focusing or promoting, going to be there. Defending hobby stock driver or hobby stock champion, Roman Wesley, he has moved up to the crates this year. So we got to watch him practice yesterday. He got in that crate late model and looked like he was ready to win the thing. He was really turning some good laps yesterday. So there's a lot of guys down here. You're going to see Jeff Watson out of Campbellsville, Kentucky. They call him J Watt. He's going to be down there, and he's always tough anywhere he rolls in with that crate late model. He runs the crates and the open late models. So it's going to be a fun time, especially I saw not just I'm sorry, I didn't know their names. I didn't get a chance to see the drivers' names when they checked in, but the 33 car, I think you just talked about him. And the 69, a black 69 car that I saw yesterday. Yeah. Okay, yes. Saw him yesterday as well. Tell you what, this is going to be fun. We start at 7 o'clock on Saturday, get there by 4. So I'm sorry, I don't know if you saw that or not. My ESPN just went off. So the WNBA draft is on. I'm a big Kentucky Wildcat fan. I live here in Kentucky, so I'm a big Wildcat fan. And Ryan Howard just went number 1 in the draft from University of Kentucky. So we're keeping up with it here tonight.
Awesome. Yeah.
Well, it's certainly going to be interesting to see your all's weekly competition and ours that we're going to bring with the tour from Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, and even the Carolinas. But how long have you been at the Speedway, and like what's one of the best races you've seen there?
Let's see. I was 12 years old my first time there, 1982, the first time the first year the track opened. I had an uncle who raced and won the bomber division, the stock division at that track at that time. He was actually the Kentucky State UMP champion in 1982. I was with him, and that's how I got my start into racing. And I went all the way up through high school, and then I was going to the military for 5 years, going to the Army. And when I came back, I was gone for a couple of years, and then Harold Hargrove, Brandon's dad, who's the owner of Lake Cumberland Speedway right now, his dad owned the racetrack, asked me to come back, do some announcing for him and shooting some video. I do some video production as well. So I've been there off and on since I was 12 years old. I'm 51 now. So I've been there for a long, long time, off and on at the racetrack. My favorite race, oh my gosh, I've been thinking about this. I can't remember if it was 1985 or 1986, the Lake Cumberland Classic at Lake Cumberland Speedway. It used to be whatever year it was the number of laps we ran. 1983 ran 83 laps, 84 ran 84 laps, so on and so forth. And I believe it was 85 or 86. We had Scott Bloomquist. We had Blackjack Boggs. We had Scott Purvis. I'm sorry, Jeff Purvis. I said Scott. Jeff Purvis. We had John Gill. Those are the guys that we had. And then we had Fats Coffee, who was one of the local drivers. Big Daddy Paul Weistretcher, who was one of the local drivers, big regional driver. And the show that those guys put on. Now, mind you, this was back. They had only taken the wedge wings off of these cars the year before. So they were just raw. These things were just like something you've never seen, until you go back. But I was a 16-year-old kid getting to see that race. And I really didn't realize how much I appreciated it until later on, whenever I thought, I got to see every one of those guys at Lake Cumberland Speedway, not Eldora, not all these other big racetracks for the World 100 or the Dream or the Dirt Track World Championship. They were at the Lake Cumberland Classic at Lake Cumberland Speedway in Burnside, Kentucky. It was called Burnside Raceway back then. And I think that was the best race that I'd ever seen. And I'll be honest with you, can't even tell you who won that year. Don't know. I just remember as a kid getting to see those drivers who were my heroes growing up, and some of those guys are still around, racing today. Of course, Scott Bloomquist is, John Gill, and his son's still around. But that to me, I can't remember the year. It was either 85 or 86, but I fell in love. For what I really just fell in love with dirt track racing that year at that race.
That's awesome. I think a lot of people focus on these big tracks and they don't realize what great racing goes on some of these other tracks that have been around forever too. They just don't have the World 100s and the Dream 100s. So, you made a great point there. Oh,
we get a chance to get out anytime I'm not working at Lake Cumberland Speedway. I'm a racing junkie. We go to Tazewell Speedway. We go to Bulls Gap. We go to Wartburg down in Tennessee. I'll take off and go, of course, locally here. The local racetracks. If I'm not working, I'm going to one of the local tracks around here over at Isom, Mountain Motor Speedway over in Isom, Kentucky. You get over in the mountains over there, 201 Speedway. I just love go racing. We go to Florida, and my wife gets mad. I'm like, hey, where's the nearest dirt track? I'm heading that way on Saturday night. She said, we just paid all this money for a vacation. I'm like, yep, but I'm going to see him sling some dirt. So I'll see you tomorrow.
That's part of vacation. That's right. So
yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I just love it. And some of the races you see, even on weekly racing at some of these places, it's just unbelievable with these series. You have Sportsman series, the Sportsman late models, the Crate late models. Everybody loves the supers. But as we all know, with the pricing of everything right now, there's a lot of drivers going to the Crate late models and the Sportsman classes, and those are becoming some of the most competitive classes on a weekly basis at any racetrack.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I raced a couple weeks ago at I-75. It's all online if you haven't seen it. It was a phenomenal race on Saturday night. Both races were good, but Saturday was phenomenal. Hope we can repeat that this weekend. Brad, we appreciate you being on. We're going to have Shane Irvin on actually here in a few minutes. He's going to be our second guest tonight, so we're excited to have him with us.
No, skip Shane. He's boring.
I got you. So
I kid. Shane works with me. We work at the same dealership together here in Kentucky. Shane is a friend of mine for 25 years, and he and I, and just let him know tomorrow's Taco Tuesday. He has to pay.
Okay. All right. We'll talk to him about that too. But before we let you go, Brian, give give us some details, prices, general admission, pit admission, and then also some sponsors that help. We can't do it just like we can't do it. You guys can't do it without sponsors either. Who helps keep the gates open there at Lake Cumberland.
Yeah, Wildcat RV is one of our big ones. Don Franklin Somerset Kia is the Don Franklin Somerset dealerships. I'm sorry, I work for Kia, but we are one of the big sponsors. 27 Auto Sales in Somerset is one of our big sponsors. We want to thank all those. We have over 45 sponsors, but we want to thank Wayne's Auto Repair, who actually sponsors our pro late model class, Cornet Racing Engines, sponsoring our super late models. Caleb Wilson, who sponsors Caleb Wilson Lumber. I'm trying to remember these off the top of my head here. Caleb Wilson Lumber sponsors our hobby stock class. So we want to thank them. Roark and Sons Transport sponsoring the open wheel modifieds. So without these people, and there's a lot more, and I'm sorry, I'm missing a bunch of people. We have a list 3 pages long of people who are sponsoring the racetrack and helping us out. But these are the ones who really, step up for us and help us year in and year out. And we want to thank each and every one of them. And mainly, we want to thank the fans, because without them, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. And if you've never been to Lake Cumberland Speedway, I joke around a little bit about it, but please get there early, because this place is going to pack out. We're going to fill it up, and it gets fun. I get stupid with the microphone. Listen, I'm not a professional, and I admit it. I readily admit it. I'm a racing fan who they just handed me a microphone one day and said, "Hey, you used to do radio, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay, do this." Okay, sure. I'm not good at it, but I have fun at it, and I am the best that no money can buy. So, guys, thank you all very much.
We got Tony Dillo coming to hang out with us this weekend, too, so he'll be in the booth with you. I've got a comment I got to show you before we let you go. Ricky Green, who is one of our racers, wants to let you know, go Vols. So,
Ricky.
So you might have to charge him extra this week.
Send me his picture. We're putting it up at the pit gate. We're going to charge him double. But, as a Kentucky fan, we got to take it. I mean, we own it this year. Whatever happened between last year and this year, I don't know what we've done in the past to make the basketball gods mad, but man, oh man, we're going through it right now. So, but the good news is we're now a football school, so we'll see Tennessee in the fall. So, I forgot to mention too, guys. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention. It is $20 for the general admission to the grandstand Saturday. Always at any race we have, no matter what it is 10 and under free for kids with a paid adult, and it is $40 to get in the pits. So gates open at 1:00, and we'll start hot lapping right around 6:15 on Saturday night.
All right, great. Well, I'll get with you. We want to bring a couple. We have Miss AAS, and we'd like to bring a couple kids to the pit area. So I'll get with you later this week and let your kids know that a few lucky ones that get there early will be invited to the pits by those of us at the series.
All right, we'll see you then, guys. We'll see you on Saturday.
Thanks for being on tonight. We'll see you there.
See ya.
See ya.
All right. Well, before we welcome in our next guest, let's hear a quick word from one of our title sponsors, PPM Racing Products, and then we'll be back.
When you start with the strongest American steel, apply the smartest techniques. Let artesian quality craftsmen do the work. What you end up with is just built better than anything else you can get.
Welcome back to Off the Dirt with Allie and Joe, presented by M&M Septic Services. This is a production of the American All-Star Series, and this show is pretty much going to be talking about our next race at Lake Cumberland Speedway this weekend on April 16th. But first, let's talk about Racetrack Connection, the new social media for racers and fans.
Yeah, Racetrack Connection, such a great app. Sherman is going to be in the house this week. He gives away some hats to the drivers at each and every race. So got some nice looking hats there. Glad to have Sherman in the house. As I said earlier, I've been waiting to announce it on social because I wanted to announce it here first. The driver and fan app is now available on every platform, the Apple and Android. So fans can sign up, drivers can sign up. Nikki will do some great pictures with the kids. She'll download them into the chat for Saturday night's race at Lake Cumberland. Cannot wait. It's going to be a good time. And, can't wait for you and Sherman to finally get to meet. You all have talked over our podcast, but this will be the first time you all have got to meet too.
Yeah, me and him have some messages back and forth about how what's out and what's coming for Racetrack Connection, but it's certainly going to be awesome and I can't wait to weave with Nikki, with the drivers and the kids, and it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, we got some cool lanyards coming in this week with the AAS logo on it, and then they say AAS Kid on them, so those are pretty cool. Nikki will give those out to the lucky kids that she finds in the stands to bring to the pit area, and really excited about that. Good to have Jimmy Rusty Webb here. They, for all intents and purposes, will be the points leader on Saturday because our current points leader is not coming. So it's good to have them. Chris does an awesome job working for us, Meta too, and he can't wait to get back in action this weekend either.
I can't either because I hadn't been in action. So it's going to be certainly awesome. But before we start talking about Lake Cumberland, let's welcome in our next guest, Shane Irvin, the 2021 Lake Cumberland Speedway champion.
Hey, Shane, good to have you.
Hey, guys. How's it going tonight?
It's good. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Sorry y'all had to listen to Brian for that long, but now everybody can kind of rake up and rejuvenate. We'll try to get through this. So,
well, before we talk to you, before we get into the serious stuff, he said it's Taco Tuesday and you're buying at work this week.
Yeah, it's probably my turn. He's got a few times, so I got him on this one.
Well, we'll just jump right into it. So, how long have you been racing?
I think this is going into my 22nd year racing. I'm only 41, but I started when I was 12. I started go-kart racing like most racers did. Once I got up and got my license and was able to drive, then I moved into cars. Race cars for a pretty good while. My son, he was born in 2008, and when he was born, we sold out, stayed out for about 8 years, got back in it, and we've been going strong ever since. So this makes year 22 for me. So first generation driver.
That's awesome. Well, we are excited to meet you and have you with us. Hopefully we can see you some more later on in the year too. It looks like you got some fans. You brought in some new people for us tonight. I appreciate that. Some new eyes on the show tonight. But how many feature victories do you have? Have you kept track?
Well, not exactly. I know it's over 90 feature wins in my career. We've got to about 94, I think, is kind of our number. I think there's a few more, but we wasn't 100% sure. So 94 is the number of feature wins. We've had some good years here in the last 5 or 6 years, and we're blessed to do what we do. And we started out struggling, but we found our groove. And 94 feature wins is where we're at right now.
That's awesome. It's a great racing career so far. And, well, I've got other questions to ask you, so I'll get to that in just a little bit. So I won't dig in too deep yet.
It's my turn.
Yeah.
So 94 is a great number. And, I'm sure some of those came from the 2021 season, but tell us about your 2021 championship at Lake Cumberland.
It was a grind. I mean, we didn't start out running points. We just decided, hey, me and my teammate, my co-owner, we just decided, hey, let's go race, let's have fun, and let's see where it goes. And about halfway through the season, the points come out, and we realized we had a pretty good lead. And then we decided, hey, let's grind it out. Because to me, a points championship means more than a victory because it's something you work for all season, all your hard work in the shop. I mean, a season-long championship to me overrides any victory. And I feel like this season I might have given away one or two, and I don't really want to put it like that, but I knew I was points racing, so I backed off at it. I played it conservative at times, and I didn't push it. But to get the overall championship, I mean, that means a lot to us. And actually in the last 4 years, we was track champion in the mini stock. So this just continues our track champion reign. The reason I like points racing so much is because if you go out and you don't win, you can't drag your head. If you get a top 3, top 4, top 5, you've set out, you've accomplished what you want to. You can leave there with your head held high. But if you go just to win and you don't win, I mean, you're kind of gonna be let down if you don't win the race. So, I like points race. I like everybody go have a big time, and we're points racers. So we're probably gonna chase the points again this year and see where it goes. So.
That's awesome, and kind of a different outlook. A lot of people, don't talk about points racing that much. So I really like to hear your view on it. It's different and makes it exciting. So, a couple questions then that are going to stem from that. well, Derek Bottoms says you missed an opportunity to say 93 there, so had to share that comment with you. But before I ask you about your most memorable victory, is this week a points race at Lake Cumberland? Is Brandon count, like when a touring series comes in, will that count toward your all's points?
If he starts the points, it will, but I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think he started the points yet.
Okay.
If he has started, it will be. I mean, when a series comes in, it'll be a legit points race.
Points
it has been in the past, but he changed it. So
it matters for you guys too. It doesn't just matter. You still need to show up and be there and participate.
It does. And I mean, it does.
Absolutely. So, tell me about your most memorable victory, and then maybe about your biggest career win. If they're the same, then that's fine. But if you've got one that's maybe really memorable, and then a bigger one that you won as well.
Yeah, I think they're probably two. My biggest is I'm looking up on the wall now to check, but Johnny Wheeler. Anybody knows dirt track racing from this area knows Johnny Wheeler. He was, Johnny was my idol. I grew up watching Johnny and from the grandstands. I'd see how he carried himself in the pits, and they'd be getting a little accident on the track. They'd be coming to him wanting to fight. He didn't have no part of that. He wanted to work on his race car. He really carried himself really well. So I grew up, mentoring John. I looked up to him, and I just got almost that point to be able to race with him. And that's when he passed away. Sorry, I get a little emotional, but I mean, we was pretty close. But I'll get to my story here. Lake Cumberland Speedway, 2019 was his first memorial race. We threw all of our eggs in a basket to try to win this race. I'd rather won it as I had the points championship or anything. We go out, we set fast time, we get in our heat race. They throw the green, we're checked out. Caution comes out. There's a wreck in the back. Under caution, they pull me over and say, "Shane, sorry, man." And they knew how much it meant to me. I had a right front flat tire. And in a heat race at Lake Cumberland, you can't change a tire. So we pulled in, and luckily, they only had 18 or 19 cars, so there wasn't a consi. We started dead last in that race. With 2 laps to go, I took second. And coming down the backstretch on the last lap, we went in 3 and 4, and I was right on the leader, and he goes in a corner and bulldozes, and I turned down under him, and we drag race back to the flag, and I beat him by just less than a half a second. I win the race. So, funny thing to the story is, when we get in the pits from the flat tire, we air the tire up because it's by far the best tire we got. We air it up and let it sit for 20 minutes. Don't lose a bit of air. We check valve stem. We check everything. We soak that baby down. There ain't nothing. So we put this tire back on and race it that night and win. And we race it another 3, 4. We wear it out, and it don't go flat again. So I still say this day, Johnny Wheeler was looking down, and he wanted to show when we put on a show that night. So
made it fun.
That's by far the most memorable win. But probably one that means a lot to me was when I won my first heat race in the late model. I mean, it was, Lake Cumberland Speedway. We set fast time, 3,000 to win show. We went out and pretty much, had them covered in a heat race. But just to see all the hard work pay off, and really didn't know a whole lot about it. We just jumped in at feet first and said, "Hey, let's go do the best we can with what we got, and let's go race." So, taking a checker flag on the heat race win with the late model, I ain't gonna lie, brought tears to my eyes when I come in. I mean, I had to gather myself just a little bit, and before I get out of the car. But that really meant a lot to me as far as the achievement and where I've come, and just the level of competition and the way the cars drive versus, like Brian said, I've drove 4 cylinders, I've drove bombers, I've drove open wheels, and I might add, open wheels is not my cup of tea, by the way. So I'm a lot happier in the late model. I like it as good as it's better than I do anything. So yeah, that's the Wheeler race is by far it'll stand out the best race that I've ever had.
Awesome.
Absolutely, that's an awesome way it happened too. So and we're glad that you don't like modifieds, because we're glad to have you racing with us this weekend. So we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm not fond of modified stuff. I'll let you guys do that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I know you race at Lake Cumberland a lot, and that's your weekly track. But do you travel to other tracks? And if so, which one's your favorite? And which one's your least favorite?
We do travel. Of course, we ain't going to this year with gas prices probably as much as as we would. But yeah, I mean, we travel way down in Tennessee and places. Lake Cumberland Speedway, I've got thousands of laps. I mean, we go there really to meet our friends and have a big time on Saturday night. Just luckily a race breaks out. So that's the way we feel about Lake Cumberland Speedway. But that's by far going to be our best. I really like Ponderosa too. I mean, but Lake Cumberland's my best. And I really don't like to talk down about any racetrack or what's my least favorite, but I'll go ahead and do it. Last year we went to Mountain View in Tennessee. Excellent facility. I weigh 350 pounds. I ain't gonna lie to nobody. I'm a big old boy. The 10-second laps and blink. I mean, it's over with. I mean, that ain't for me. That's too quick. Them little bull rings, high bank stuff, that just ain't my cup of tea. But the facility's awesome. I just wasn't a fan of the racetrack. But I mean, I don't really talk bad about a racetrack.
Right.
That would be the least favorite. But yeah, we travel out. We go to Florence. We went to Florence last year. I mean, the Rock and Mount Vernon. I mean, we travel to all the local tracks. Richmond. I mean, 411. It's just, and we plan on. I mean, if we have a good year, I mean, we're planning on East Bay, hitting East Bay. I mean, some of the bigger scale stuff next, over the winter if we have a good season. So.
Awesome. And when I ask least favorite, you answered it exactly how I meant. So that was perfect. Yeah. Just not your cup of tea. Not that it's a bad racetrack, just not your cup of tea.
Don't get me wrong. It just wasn't my. I mean, and I would go back and race there. It's just not my cup of tea. I mean, but we had a good night, decent night. We loaded one piece. So
well, that's halfway. That's half the battle. So if you do that. All right. So we've got some of our racers watching. So I don't know how much secret you want to tell right now, but for these guys that are coming to Lake Cumberland that have never been, what can you tell them about Lake Cumberland Speedway?
I mean, of course, like Brian said, 3/8 of a mile. I mean, it's your average 3/8 of a mile. The good thing about Lake Cumberland, you don't know. It's not really topside dominant. I mean, you'll have the top side 1 minute. Next minute you'll look, and the next heat race will be dominant on the bottom. When it rubbers up, I mean, get some. Of course, they got new dirt, so this is talking in last year in the past. But I mean, you might have. I've seen Adam All come up here from Tennessee and win dead in the middle on the black slick, and just walk off. So I mean, it's 3-groove racetrack most of the time. It's wide. I mean, and most of your local racers that race weekly race, I mean, we're respectable. I mean, we'll race you clean all night long. Something happens to get into you and we knock a fender off, we'll come help you put it back on. I mean, that's, and even if but that's just the way we are. That's the way we are. So we're the open arms. Love to meet as many as I can Saturday night. I mean, if anybody's got any questions that's going to come race, me and some of my buddies like, man, quit telling all the stuff. But if somebody needs to know gear, I mean, I don't care to one bit to help somebody. That's the way I've always been. And anybody tell you, I've got weekend warrior awards because I tell them everything I'm doing, because I want to beat the best. I don't want to go out there. If I'm doing something and I find something that works, I'll be the first one to say, hey, look what I done. And then he'll go do it and come out and beat me the next weekend. But that's just me. I want to see everybody do good. And like I say, all your guys, if they need to know anything, all they got to do is just hit me a message and I'll help them and I'll be as honest as the day is long. Anybody can tell you that. So.
Absolutely. Logan Walls is actually planning to tour the full season with us this year. He says don't tell him the secret way around. So he's here watching tonight. But one other question I have, our tire rule is slightly different and we run hard across the rear. Do you think that will kind of level out your guys that run there weekly that know the track real well with these guys that are coming from out of town? Do you think that tire rule kind of puts everybody on a level playing field?
It's kind of been a $1 million question that's kind of run through my mind several times. I mean, I know y'all's bringing in some good competition, and we got some local good competition here. I don't. That's a real good question. I mean, it's going to be difficult for us because we'd never run on 1600 unless we go to 411 or Tennessee or I think Willard's on 411. I mean on hard tires, but around here we just never run them. Even when the supers race around here. we can't justify running 1600 when the track just blacks up, slicks up, because we don't spin them off and we don't get enough heat in them to keep them going around here most of the time. So I've never really I practiced on 1600, but other than going to Tennessee 411, which we won't get into that story because them Tennessee guys, they're tough. But I think just being good at the racetrack and knowing the racetrack got a lot of laps. I mean, I feel like it's going to have the advantage over. Welsham's come in there and just wore us out. Personally, I run third to him one night. I couldn't even see him. I mean, he's come in and just wore us slap out. So, I think you're right. I think the 1600s are going to drop us down a little bit, but then they're used to it, and they've been racing for 2 months. We practiced one time last weekend. I know Logan's run a couple times with you, but most of our racers practice one time, and then we're going to race for Friday night at Ponderosa, and then we're going to race with y'all Saturday at Lake Cumberland. But I've yet since last October, a lot of us ain't been in a race, so that's going to mean a lot too. Everybody back in the swing, and then we ain't been. So I think it's going to be pretty even. I think you're going to see a mixture of some locals up front mixed with some of your good cars. And I really think at the end of the night, I think we're going to get out smiling. It's going to be a good shakedown. And I think you're going to see a mixture of top five of some of your traveling guys and some of your better locals. Hopefully me in the top five. So, but and like I say, I'm looking forward to it.
We're really looking forward to it and looking ahead to June. 5,000 win at both Ponderosa and Lake Cumberland. I can't imagine the car counts we'll have that weekend.
Oh yeah, I got you. I love it.
I figured you'd be all about running for the big money. So we're glad and excited to come and really excited to meet you in person. It's been a pleasure to have you on tonight. But before we let you go, Shane, I know that you've got sponsors that help you get up and down the road. Tell us about them.
All right. First, I'd like to thank a couple of people first, if you don't care, before I get my sponsor. First and foremost, I'd like to thank our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because without him, I mean, we wouldn't be here doing what we do. So he gets all the praise and glory. But second, my wife and my kids. I mean, I spend so much time out here in the shop through the week, just getting ready for the weekend to go win them championships and win them races. They allow me to come out here and do what I love to do. They don't hold it over my head. They back me 100%. So, my wife, my kids will be second. Third is Wayne Rigg. He was I picked him up as a sponsor the first of last year. A couple months in, our families, his family, my family kind of just meshed together. It's one of them things that we don't know how, we're just so glad our paths crossed, because he's not a sponsor anymore. He's family, and he's one of my best friends. So he's a co-owner of a race team, but him and his family, I wouldn't be here without them doing what. I mean, I'd be racing, but I'd be bent spindles. I say this all the time. I'd have broken bent spindles and bent bars and old junk bodies and stuff, because I just don't have the financial means to do it without him. So he's been a tremendous. Couldn't do it without him. Jeff Watson, Jay Watt, that just talked about him earlier a while. He picked us up when we was green. He showed us everything we needed to know. He's kind of got us where we're at today. I mean, we need something. I pick up the phone, call him, and he tells me, "Hey, do this." I take my car to him. He'll scale it. He'll adjust it out. And without him, I mean, I wouldn't. He tells me, he said, "When the first time you beat me," he said, "I'm done." He said, "No more information, no more secrets." He said, "I'm done." So, and Tim Taylor, last but not least, Tim Taylor. He's a guy I can call 9:30 at night and say, "Man, what's this fuel system? I have no idea what's going on," and he can walk me through every inch of it. And he's been really good. So, but then going it, I like to thank those people. I'm going to my sponsors, Wayne's Auto Repair, Don Franklin Family Dealerships come on board this year. They've actually been with me a few years, but they really helped us a lot this year. Henderson Boat Repair, Elite TV, Advanced Auto Parts come on board, helping us a ton. The body put on by Jeremy Strunk at Fast Lane Fabrication. Man, he done a great job. Slicker Graphics done the wrap. Travis Kearns Race Engines. Last but not least, Audie Schwartz. I mean, at Schwartz Race Cars. If you looking for a race car, that man knows what he's talking about. We kind of piggybacked off him this winter, and we had a really good car yesterday. So I'm really excited where to go. But he's been nothing but the best to us. So I got to give a shout out to Audie Schwartz. So yeah. And then there's a lot more, but that's just hitting the highlights. Just thank everybody as part of our race team.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. It sounds like you got a lot of great supporters. We, just like us, couldn't do it without those supporters. So we've got all kinds of bonus money that'll be up for grabs throughout the night and prizes. We even have a giveaway for the drivers meeting. So make sure you come to the drivers meeting on Saturday.
And make sure I'm there. He always does.
Good. So Peggy Tartar says you're a family that comes and watches you too. So.
And she gives me a hard time. Yeah.
And Zane Powell says class act. We're gonna have Zane in the house with us this weekend too. So but Shane, I can't wait to come out. I can't wait to get there. Expect a whole host of amazing competitors to be in the house with us, and look forward to seeing how you mix in with the touring guys.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. I look forward to seeing y'all Saturday, and y'all have a safe trip down, okay? Y'all have a good afternoon.
Thanks, Shane. We'll see you then.
Thank y'all.
All right. Kind of like Joe just said, we can't do any of this without any kind of sponsors or partners. So we couldn't do any of this without PPM Racing Products. So here's a quick word from them.
When you start with the strongest American steel, apply the smartest techniques. Let artesian quality craftsmen do the work. What you end up with is just built better than anything else you can get.
Welcome back to Off the Dirt with Allie and Joe, presented by M&M Civic Services. It's a production of the American All-Star Series, and we've spent this entire night talking about Lake Cumberland Speedway, and then this segment we're going to talk about some weekly point stuff, but before we get to that, let's talk about Racetrack Connection and how it's out for everybody.
It's out for everybody. Sherman's going to be in the house. You're going to be in the house. You'll make sure that everybody's signed up on Sunday. Sherman's going on down to Ponderosa on Friday for their Ironman late model show as well. Shout out to Chris Tilley and his show that he's got going on Friday night at the pond. There is a regular weekly crate show going on. If anybody that competes with us wants to go get some laps at the pond and get ready for our big 5,000 to win race in June, it is 1,500 to win. I think the tire rule is slightly different. They can run softs on the rear. I think across the rear. You can check with that before you go. But it's going to be a really great weekend. I do hear some background noise there on your end, Allie.
That is people in my dorm being stupid.
Got a loud group there with you tonight. But if anybody wants to go Friday night, go check out Brandon Hargrove's Ponderosa Speedway. We will be back in June. 5,000 to win at both tracks. The first time ever Ponderosa and our second time then to Lake Cumberland. That's going to be a huge weekend. Can't wait for that one in June. But even more so, can't wait for this weekend coming up. We're going to have some really great drivers with us competing. Brandon Hargrove is in the house tonight. Brandon Hargrove, check him out on Facebook. Brandon has done a phenomenal job promoting our race this week. Every time I pull up Facebook, I'm seeing it either from his personal page or from Lake Cumberland page. He's posted about the All-Stars coming to town. So appreciate that, Brandon. All the hard work you're doing on your end to promote the series. We really appreciate you. But, a few other drivers before we get into our weekly talk, if you don't care, that I know are going to be there. The Rooster, Dustin Linville, huge name in Kentucky, known for his super late model racing. This weekend, he'll be with us in the house in the pro late model. First start he's ever made with the series, so really excited to have him. Dalton Brown's coming, Daniel Dial, Jared Carey. I got a call from Bryant Johnson last night, plans to come. He said he's just a weekly racer that enjoys coming out and racing, as well as Tyler Price going to be in the house from Tennessee. Jordan Hedger got his motor fixed, going to be back with us. So that's just a few. The Watsons, Skylar Marlar, Cameron Marlar, so the Marlar brothers are going to be there. I mean, that's just a few of the names of drivers that are going to be there with us this weekend. It's going to be a phenomenal race. I've got several on my list, but I think there's a lot coming from the Kentucky area that I don't even know that are coming. So,
well, you have some of the Tennessee drivers that already signed up. You have the Sices, you have Hayden Cardwell, one that's pretty much shown his way as a rookie this year. And then there's just so many
Jason Wilson.
Yeah, Jason Wilson wanting to come in and take that $3 grand from the weekly drivers.
Our special guest for later
Shane
tonight.
Elliott.
one later tonight during the Bloopers segment. Terry Poore will be in the house. I hope Terry still knows that we're doing this. I have not talked to him since I lined him up the other day. So hopefully Terry's ready to rock and roll in the Bloopers segment here in just a few minutes. But, looking at our weekly points, not everybody has got started yet. But I'll tell you what, Hayden Cardwell is emerging, and he looks like he's going for that bonus money.
I think he is. He has one of the most loyal car owners on the series, on the tour, and just loyal to racing anyways. But Hayden Cardwell, he's coming hot for the touring and the weekly championship. Yeah,
got a great start. Now, he's a little ahead because they've been racing in the South a little longer, so he does have more races right now than everybody else. Terry is ready. He's here and ready to rock and roll.
Hey, Terry.
So, Terry, just sit tight. We'll be with you in just a few moments. We can't wait. But he's got the lead right now. Jesse Lowe currently sits second. Tyler Price third. Tyler has had a really great start to the season. He missed Friday night show at I-75, but then he raced his way in on Saturday. So such improvement coming from Tyler. I think he finished in the top 10 on Saturday. Might be wrong on that. If it wasn't in the top 10, it was just outside the top 10. Yeah. So, and that's with a strong field of cars too.
Yeah. Well, and then you have Bradley Welling making his fourth place in weekly points right now, kind of making his way into the tour and his name into the weekly points this year because we didn't see him much last year.
That's right. AJ Hicks sits fifth. Now, AJ told me that. He said it's weird being in the top 5 in April because he didn't see the top 5 until September last year. So he told me the other day it was a little weird being in the top 5 already, but he is working his way in there. Shannon Thornsberry is a legendary super late model racer from Kentucky that has joined as a weekly member this year. He's beat AJ already at Willard this year, so I already got one that's got a target on him and outrun him. So Shannon's got a great start. Garrett McLeod, good young racer, Toby Gallion, Terry Poore, and Logan Roberson currently round out the top 10 in weekly points.
Yeah. Our weekly is going to shake up, though. Once these Kentucky drivers get started, and then all your drivers from Natural Bridge, up from that area, once they all get started up here in the northern parts of the region, it's going to be pretty cool to see how much those weekly points shake up.
Yeah, I think it's going to get wild and it's going to be fun, so I can't wait for that. I love weekly point racing. I love watching it. I love watching it grow. Kind of like Shane was talking about winning the points at his home track. I just love watching these guys compete against each other from tracks that are very different. And it could get to the point in the season where a guy from Tennessee has to go to Willard on a regular weekly night to try to hold off somebody, or somebody has to go over to Natural Bridge, or somebody has to come from Natural Bridge to try to block somebody at Smoky Mountain or I-75 or Crossville. So it's just a really great thing and a lot of fun. I really enjoy our weekly deal.
Yeah, I like points deals anyways, but our weekly deal is super interesting to see those guys on their off weekends go in there and see if they can take the lead or push somebody down in the weekly points.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I think Hayden will make a run for it all year long, as well as guys like AJ Hicks and Logan Roberson too, once he gets some more races in. So last year's touring championship, focusing on some super racing this year, but still going to do his weekly crate racing at his home track when he's not super racing.
Yep. Well, that's about it for the weekly points. So let's go in and invite Terry Poore into the show. But before we get over to our blooper segment,
the tent terror.
The tent terror. Here's a quick list of our sponsors of the American All-Star Series. Welcome back to Off the Dirt with Allie and Joe, presented by M&M Septic Services. This is a production of the American All-Star Series, and I think this is going to be one of the most fun blooper segments we've had all existence of the show, maybe?
Yeah, I think so. Terry does say he's on the struggle bus, so I hope he is able to get in. So hopefully he can get off the struggle bus and get joined into our video here in just a minute. So we do want to mention, I want to mention before we get into the blooper section, we do need to update. We had a new sponsor come on last week, and I haven't really got to update it. So New Arrow is the sponsor of Heat Force. So going to give New Arrow a nice little plug here, a little bit of love for New Arrow that's separate from our video we do tonight. Save the
Fireflies.
Hashtag Save the Fireflies there. So want to give New Arrow a plug, appreciate New Arrow for the sponsorship of Heat 4 throughout this season. So really excited about that partnership and to have New Arrow on board with us throughout the entire 2022 season. So we've got a lot of great partners, new partners this year, and man, oh man, it's just the series is growing and can't be happier about that. New tracks this weekend. I can't wait to see what the future holds. I'm really excited, but hopefully we can get Terry off the struggle bus, get him in here. I'm really excited. Terry is a great sport.
He really is.
Because he could have said, he could have been offended by me asking him to hang out with us tonight and do the blooper section. He could have said no, absolutely not. But instead, he's going to join us here in just a few moments, I hope. I have sent him the invite. He's a great
TikTok dancer, too.
He is good at TikTok, so
I can play it. Let's just do it.
We got to get him. Oh, can you add it in here? Can you throw it up?
No, I can't. I can show it on my phone, though.
Oh, well, that could work. So,
of course it
Ricky Green, if you're still watching, there's you some love for New Arrow. Allie will get the sponsor video updated and get you included. So don't worry about that. So
we're at PRI. This is Terry Poore got 357 likes and 3,278 views on TikTok. All right, you ready? Let's do not disturb this real fast.
Okay. All right, play us some Terry.
He's such a good sport.
So Ricky is still with us. You think we'd get Ricky to dance like that on the TikTok?
Probably not. I barely got him to do an interview with the Tiny Mike.
Oh, you got to bring the Tiny Mike this weekend because you need to interview all the top 3 after the race. So be prepared for that with the Tiny Mike. I thought I was
doing like everybody.
Well, probably everybody too. So we have lots of promotional videos. But yes, at least the top 3 after the race beside the series trailer. And then anybody else that makes fun of your Tiny Mike. Shane would probably enjoy using the Tiny Mike, I'd say. So he seems like he's a really good sport just from his time here with us. Terry, are we having any luck, Terry, with getting in here for this blooper segment tonight?
It's a blooper in its own. It's him can't get in here. Having trouble getting here, not can't getting here.
He has read the message, so I know he at least has seen the link to join in.
Does he have family that can put it in reverse, Terry? That's funny. I wish I'd have been there when he ran over the tent. Oh no, Joe.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
I wonder if are you having trouble with the invite or just having trouble connecting to the stream?
That's right. They are, Shane. Terry, it should just connect.
In the garage on my phone.
Are you connected to Wi-Fi and are you connected to good Wi-Fi? Yes, sir. Shane, you're welcome.
Looking for Maury. Bless your heart, Terry. You're my favorite. He's the only driver to ever come up to me every race and he'll go, "How are you today, Allie? How's softball going? How's school?"
Hey, soon he won't have that to ask you about because it's over.
I know. I have like 2 weeks. Hey, you're welcome, Shane. Well, our blooper, we don't have any bloopers. We mess up.
I mean, I couldn't get the sponsor video to click. I was clicking, and that didn't happen much for me. So, it's not letting him in. I was looking really, really forward to this segment.
Still in Shooty.
He's coming to Cumberland. I forgot to mention we were going to have drivers from Georgia. I believe he told me at the car show that he has family up there.
Oh yeah, I remember him saying that. Biggest blooper is Joe's lack of beard.
I've heard that.
Ricky likes you better with the beard.
I guess so. I've heard it all day long from my students at school, from my wife who went to bed early last night and because she was feeling bad, and then wakes up and sees me this morning and thinks there's a stranger in the house. So I've heard it
pretty thick though.
All day long. Yeah, it was. Oh, he's here. Okay.
Terry.
There, every once in a while, somebody gets lucky.
All right.
All right. Let's now let's have a little bit of fun now that we've got off the struggle bus.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right, Terry, it's good to have you. I didn't send you a list of questions because I figured tonight would just be off the, kind of off the cuff. So
yeah, fine.
Let's start. Can we call you the Tent Terror from now on? Is that a good nickname?
I don't know if you're going to bring these attack tents to the racetrack for this tech deal you got going on, Joe. You didn't catch anybody on the first try when I tried to come through there and that thing jumped out at me. And when I come back by the second time, it actually latched on like it was going to, drag me to the ground, I guess. And I think I won.
I think so too. I was watching it. I was in the tower, and all of a sudden, I just see the tent go down. So.
Yeah, I had no idea. I guess it hooked the quarter pounder right in front of the right rear tire, and the big guy, he come running upside the car. Stop. And I'm like, well, he doesn't check. No, I think you would need to get my tent. My tent.
So, you've been at our races before, so what was different about the tent this time?
Well, it started early in the day when I came down there for the first tech. On the first, it was the same day actually.
It was.
And I had my tennis shoes. I rolled down there early, and I still had my tennis shoes on. So I'm pulling up to the tent, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna let my foot off, the clutch and step on the brake. Well, my foot's still covering the edge of the clutch, and here I go. I'm still carrying it over. I'm gonna run over the tent and climb the ramp into the trailer with Jesse. And I'm like, oh, stop. Thank God it did. It just chucked the motor down and stopped. And I thought, finally, I've not run over anything yet after the first couple of weeks I've had. It was unfortunate, but yeah, needless to say, I didn't make it unscathed by the end of the day.
Oh, Jesse probably appreciates the fact that you didn't come see her in the trailer in the car.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't have been a very funny blooper if we didn't.
Yeah, it wasn't but about 12 inches between. She knew at least I was starting there.
So you say it hooked your quarter panel. Did it mess your quarter panel up? Did we mess up your qualified lap?
No, I can't say that was the reason, Joe. I'd like to say that, but that's one thing that I'll always tell you. I've got a lot faster race car than I got drivers. So a lot of times I have an issue with wanting to have that talk with that guy, but it comes to find out he owns all the stuff too. So, a lot of times I don't get anywhere with that conversation, I guess. So.
Well, the tent didn't survive, so we're going to be tentless. We might have Randall. I think Randall said he might bring us one to use, but
well, I'll be happy to pay for repairs or to replace it. But you have to get those attack tents out of the trailer. They will jump out there and grab you.
That's right.
And bite you.
Yeah. Well, if I get much further, it would have been probably collapsed down on the back of the car.
Well, that's what it looked like was happening as I was in the tower. It looked like it was coming down on the car with you. So
yeah, that was all those aluminum poles that I seen sticking out of it, and all the pictures after the fact. And just stood over there and shrugged my head, going, "Oh my God, look what you've done." So.
I wish I'd have been there for this. I would have literally died. I would have been rolling.
Well, there wasn't a lot of people that did witness it, thank God, but I guess I got the secrets out. So, have at it, boys.
I did tell my buddies at PPM that you took it out. Have you been to see them yet?
No, I tried to stay away from there, Joe. I paid the rent on that place last and I think I even paid the royalties for all the employees. So after the Smoky Mountain ordeal, but it's all good. The nice thing about it was they had everything I needed. They always do. Randy and those guys are absolutely phenomenal to work with. They always get you taken care of, and the nice thing about it is you're loved when you go in there and you get somebody gives you such a hard time, just as like tonight. We get out there and we race hard, have a lot of fun doing that and that type of thing. But at the end of the day, it's all about just doing this right here, having fun. I mean, if you can get a laugh off something I did, well, I'm glad I made your night a little better.
That's right. And I'm glad you're here sharing. You get a laugh off me sometimes too. I know that, but
you're up there I'm throwing you out over this, and if you don't pull off or get in line and this type of thing, and we do that for 20 laps. I don't know, Joe. I'm still trying to figure out if you're serious.
Well, and I guess I said aggressively walking in drivers meeting, and some guys have had fun with that too since the first drivers meeting.
Yeah, I heard about that too. Aggressively walk into someone else's pit.
That's probably what he was doing up there in that booth after he seen me drag that tent, was walk back and forth.
All right. So, Terry, on a serious note, you changed your paint scheme this year. You're not, well, I guess the deuce is still blue, but you look a little different.
Yeah. The kids want to do that. My daughter and my son-in-law have become a vital part of what we do every week, each and out. And they go back to my sportsman days when they said, hey, look, you had a lot more luck in a black and a blue car, which, we all need that luck factor. But that's sort of what they wanted to do, a flat black car. And I said, all right, that's fine. As long as we can keep the deuce blue and it's still the blue deuce, which will always be until the day we give it up, I guess, from this garage anyway. So, and I'm sure there are other deuces out there and blue deuces or however, but, the one that comes out of Seymour is always going to be a blue 2 or a blue car. And sometimes you have to put a white number on it, but it's still the blue deuce. So, but yeah, blue being my favorite color, it ties in big to my GM sponsorship that from Tar Chevrolet place I work. They support us really, really heavily, and we're always appreciative of that. So this sort of works together.
Well, I like it. It looks good this
you.
year. It really looks good on the track. It's sharp. Right now you're 12th in the touring points, top 10 in weekly points. What's your outlook going into Lake Cumberland this weekend?
Well, you know this, and of course Brandon Hardengrove does too. They seen me quite a bit up there last year during when we took off and stayed away from the touring series, just because of things going on personally that we had going on. So we did do a lot of racing, and we would spend Friday nights at Crossville on a weekly deal, and then we'd stay up in the Crossville area and then make that run like we have to later in the year and go over to Lake Cumberland on Saturday night. And I just love the little place. It is just like Mr. Irwin said and Mr. Watson, they really get around that place well. And it is racy little joint. I like it. I like it a lot. It's one of my favorites.
Absolutely. If somebody like Ricky Green, who we know is watching, reaches out to you, you're going to give him any tips this weekend? Because he's right behind you in the points right now.
Well, yeah, I thought it was funny. I got one. I guess it was probably a trick question from Trevor, or one of the boys texted Curtis and said, hey, what gear do you run up there? And I always tell, I'm like the other old boy. I'll tell you anything I got. Because the bad thing about it is I've got a lot faster race car, like I keep saying, than I got a car driver. So really and truly, I keep, if you can not run my race car, that's fine, because the driver's easy to outrun. So sometimes I get lucky, but we hope to have a good run up there this week. And yeah, I'd share anything, from a smash number to a gear if everybody wanted it, because I'm just like the other gentleman there. One of the reasons why I run your series is we do get to race against the Sizes and the Cardwells and, Logan and all those guys. And you get to hang around with them weekly. We had huge times with them all over Charlotte. And heck, like, we made a comment a couple years ago at the points banquet. Half of them were not old enough to have driver's license even. And the amount of talent that comes through this deal, it's just really fun to be a part of, really. because everybody enjoys it. It's not, and don't think that competition's not tough, because there's going to be some tough times and some hurt feelings and from time to time, because there's a lot of stakes on the line. But if it weren't for that, there wouldn't be nobody sitting in the stands or nobody going to the races. And that's what we need, those fans that are such a vital part.
You're right. Well, every time I've been around you always have a great time at the track. It's always a great day when you get to see Terry Poore at the track. But I want to know, are you going to bring in air horns this year?
Am I going to bring what?
The air horns.
Yeah, I hear you're coming this weekend in particular. I'm going to break it out. I haven't gotten it out yet. And I know my buddy Welsh, and he there's a funny story behind that air horn when we got it last year, and we took it to Charlotte, right? And we had that thing out really late one night at Charlotte. And Welsh didn't come over on the early night. He come over on the night before the race, and he got there about 2:00 and pulled in, and there wasn't, anybody at the gate. So he comes on in and then parks his truck and goes up and hangs out with some of the guys up closer to the track. I started blowing that horn. Well, Jason Welsh didn't know that it wasn't anybody down there. He kept thinking it was the law wanting him to come move his truck. So he stayed up the top of that hill to about 4:30 that morning because I was blowing that horn. And he come to find out he's got one too. So I'm going to go to bed if he's blowing his horn, but we both have one. Now I'm going to get mine out for you, Allie. I'm going to make sure you hear that horn this weekend.
All right. I appreciate that, Terry.
Absolutely.
If you make the dash again this week, are you going to be as happy as you were when you did at Lizard Creek?
Oh, yeah. Well, at Lizard Creek, I think I just did a high heel click for a 56-year-old man. I may do you a cartwheel, Joe.
Oh, that's what I like to hear. So just make sure Allie gets it on video, because we'll need to save that.
We got to do something to offset that Blankenship boy. He's an internet sensation here. We're going to make a star out of it just for.
Hey, you did pretty good on the TikTok. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, he does. That's it. Those TikTok things, they're way past my generation in there, but the kids love to have fun with it. They put some music out there with a few videos and stuff, and it's really a good way to promote what we do and just have some fun with it and make some memories. That's what it's all about. So,
hey, you want to know something, though?
What's that?
My dance I did with William, the one he challenged you to do, you beat him.
Yeah. I'm a better dancer than William, that's for sure.
You got almost triple the views on your video.
Well, that's good. I'm a better dancer.
California girls.
Yes, absolutely. So, but we really appreciate each and everything you guys do at the American All-Star Series. The weekly thing that you put out there for us, it's gotten really nice to have those other points funds to run. I used to be like the guy that spoke, Mr. Irvin, and run those points races every year and get locked into those one race tracks. And I like the way it's structured, that you can race multiple racetracks to gain those points. And when you're off and not doing the touring thing, it's hard enough to just go and be able to relax, because there's a lot on the line. You show up and there's 35, 40 cars there, and you at least want to make the show and get yourself paid for getting up and down the road. The weekly stuff is really, really big in the way it's structured. So hats off to you guys and what y'all have been able to do.
Terry, we really appreciate that. William Blankenship does admit that you're a better dancer than he is. So he is here with us and watching. So he does admit that. So, but Terry, I appreciate you coming in. I appreciate you letting us have some fun at your expense tonight. And can't wait to see you Saturday. Wish you the best of luck this weekend, and we'll see you at the track.
Absolutely. Y'all have a safe night, and thank you for having us.
Thanks, Terry.
Bye, Terry.
See you, Allie.
All right, Joe. That's a pretty good blooper segment.
That was a lot of fun. Such a good sport. I don't know many drivers that would have come in and had some fun with us like that. So I can't say enough about Terry Poore. He's a great one to have on the tour. Definitely one, if there's any kids watching that Miss AAS Nikki Moon picks out to go to the pit area, that's one you definitely want to visit. I saw Rusty Webb. I forgot this. There's been so many comments tonight. It's been so active, and we appreciate it. Rusty said they got all kinds of candy for the kids this weekend. So huge shout out to Rusty for that. Appreciate you guys and helping us help the kids. If we can't get the kids there, the parents aren't going to come, and there's no future in the sport if we don't have any kids coming to the races. So such a big focus for me and what we do, and just really excited. Like I said, we got some cool lanyards made up with the AAS logo on them, this AAS kids. So going to give those out to the kids, a few lucky ones each and every week that get to hopefully, tracks. I'm sure tracks are totally fine with the touring of the pit area for the kids, as long as the minor waiver's signed. So I'm really excited about that. But it's going to be a great weekend. I wouldn't expect anything less than 35 to 40 cars. I think, like we talked with Shane, I think it'll be a good mix of the tires will kind of level things out with the locals that have the home track advantage. Terry Poore might be the man to watch this weekend because he's raced it there with the tire rule, and he's raced a lot on our tire rule. So Terry might be one of the men to beat this weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be a really awesome weekend. But next episode, Monday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Actually, I have a game next Monday. So we may be joining you from a different night of the week next week, but we'll talk about that. We'll make sure you guys know.
We'll figure it out. Yes.
Yeah, because I also have a game Tuesday. But so next episode next week at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be joined with the winners of with the winner of Lake Cumberland Speedway this weekend for $3,000 to win, April 16th. So we'll see you guys at the track this weekend.
Yeah, excited about that. 2 more comments coming in. Landers look great. Nikki has seen them. She's excited about them. And I guess next week Bob might be maybe we'll have a special co-host, Allie, if you got games back to back. You might have to have a fill-in
My
co-host.
name's first.
So
My name is first.
So we might have to. It might have to be Bob and Joe. If Ricky has a good weekend and wins, maybe it could just be the co-host through the whole show.
Maybe, but next time we'll be joined by the winner of Lake Cumberland Speedway. So join our next episode. We'll make sure you guys know what time and day we're going to be out. But Joe, if you don't have anything else, let's blow this popsicle stand.
Yeah, great night, great show. Appreciate all our guests. Had a lot of fun tonight. Really looking forward to meeting Brian and Shane at the track this weekend. They were great guests to have on. And Terry, thank you for being a good sport and hanging out with us, and all our drivers and team owners that hang out with us in the comments each and every night. Thanks for coming on. Great season ahead. We're just getting started. It's just April. The warmer nights are coming. It's going to be about 70 this weekend, so perfect racing weather. Come out, enjoy a great night of racing. Inaugural visit ever, Lake Cumberland Speedway, the Spring Showdown, Saturday, April the 16th. Easter weekend, best way to spend it.
Yep. It's going to be a great weekend. I'm excited to meet. Finally, I'll get to meet Sherman. I'll get to meet Shane and Brian, and I'll get to see one of my favorite drivers, Terry Poore. But that's all we got. So that's the dirt for Off the Dirt with Allie and Joe. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.